The Aran Islands, like the whole west coast of Ireland, have supported a dense population for the past 200 years, though the barren rock had little to offer these people. Here in Inishmaan, all roads lead to the sea. Isolation has ensured the survival of many elements of traditional life here, though an airstrip has recently been constructed. On Inishmaan, the Curragh is far from being the pleasure boat it has become in Curragh. The life of this island community is still centred on it. Its capacity to withstand heavy seas and the ease with which it can be handled on the undeveloped landing places make it ideal for inshore fishing. The outboard motor is no stranger to the Curragh. The long rising bow and the round keelless bottom of the Curragh have their only parallel outside Ireland in the Scandinavian prom. This may be a pure coincidence, but one should always remember the many Irish seafaring terms borrowed from the Vikings, including in all probability the very word bod, meaning boat. Today, the slipway is the focal point on the island. Two men can comfortably carry a curragh. These curraghs are stored upside down, resting on piles of stones in a curragh pen, well out of the reach of the sea. Here comes the postman to collect and dispatch the island's mail. The fact that the curragh does not have a keel means that its bottom has practically no grip on the surface of the sea, and there is therefore little friction. This is a big advantage in stormy weather, when the curragh, being naturally very buoyant and riding high, can be spun easily into the path of oncoming waves. If the seas are really big, the oarsmen stop pulling just before reaching the crest of a wave. Last night's catch of salmon is on its way to the market. Most of the curraghs are made on the island of Inisheer and have a life of about 8 years or more if well maintained. The Lifeline is the island's lifeline to Galway on the mainland, ferrying as it does both passengers and merchandise. The lobsters in this box have to be kept immersed in salt water to ensure that they are still alive when they get a hot reception in Paris or London. The Lifeline has to anchor some distance offshore as the sea is too shallow for her to stand in closer. This is where the curragh really comes into its own. Today it is calm, but it can be a tricky and difficult task getting passengers and cargo off the boat. In a heavy swell, there is always the danger of catching the gunwale or thole pin of the Curragh under the rubbing strake, which surrounds the Niveana, and so capsizing. Except for smaller items, which the plane can now carry, everything else has to come by ship. The carrying capacity of the Curragh is enormous, and a load of 2 tons is not exceptional. On some of the islands off the Donegal coast, it was normal practice to place a beast on its back with its legs tied in a curragh. The curragh was then carried into the water. Here in Inishman and Inishir, the stock has to swim for it. Bottled gas has made a big difference to the comforts of island life. Only a small amount of turf is now shipped from the mainland, though coal is still burnt. Whatever the exact history of the Curragh, it seems that Curragh navigation, as practiced in the days of the original Niveana, who established his monastery in Aran in the 6th century, suffered an eclipse, possibly during the turmoil of the Viking invasions. There are indications that the Curragh continued in use in the medieval period. O'Sullivan Bear had hide-covered curraghs measuring 26 feet, constructed to cross the Shannon during his famous retreat in 1602. The increasing dependence on the sea of the congested population of the west coast is likely to have provided the impetus for the development undergone by the curragh in the last century. In 1853, the Aran curragh was described as being only 8 feet long, at the very time it was being introduced into Kerry from Clare in the aftermath of the Great Famine. It has served its purpose well.